The Holy Roman Empire was famously killed in 1806 after Napoleon's victory over Austria during the War of the Third Coalition. Its dissolution was a surprise to most, given that the Holy Roman Empire had been a staple of European politics for over 800 years. 8 years later, Napoleon was defeated and exiled, but the Habsburgs, the rulers of Austria and the last dynasty of the Holy Roman Empire, made no attempt to bring it back. So why? Why didn't anybody try to revive the Holy Roman Empire? As you'll likely know, the Holy Roman Empire was a clunky, inefficient and in many ways outdated institution. Those within it often squabbled, and the rising power of Prussia made things awkward too. And so, when Napoleon's armies crossed the border and defeated the Austrians and Russians at Austerlitz, he was free to remake Central Europe as he pleased. Napoleon wanted to rework the continent in the image of the French Revolution. This meant rationalising borders and making sure that Prussia and Austria weren't able to challenge France's hegemony. The most prominent way that he did this was by creating the Confederation of the Rhine, a French puppet state which acted as a buffer between France and the rest of the European powers, whilst also itself not being powerful enough to be a problem on its own. Francis II, the Holy Roman Emperor, was concerned that Napoleon would take the title for himself, and so he announced not just his abdication but the end of the empire itself. Now, he technically didn't have the right to do this, but everything was kind of weird at this point and so nobody challenged it. Anyway, after Napoleon was defeated, it was up to the victors to redraw European borders to prevent revolutionary ideals from spreading again. This was decided at the Congress of Vienna, at which nobody pushed for the return of the Holy Roman Empire. So why not? To begin, many of the kings and rulers in the former Holy Roman Empire didn't want to return to the previous way of doing things. To make matters worse, whenever the Austrians went to war, there was always an attempt to drag the rest of the Holy Roman Empire into the conflict with them. Beyond this, the resurrection of the Holy Roman Empire wasn't in Austria's interests anymore. One issue with the empire was that outside powers could undermine Vienna's power there, by either bribing up or coercing medium-sized states within it to act against the emperor in any and all matters. The empire's lack of centralised power is one of the reasons why the Austrians didn't want it back. Furthermore, the revival of the Holy Roman Empire was made obsolete because a new union in the region was being proposed, the German Confederation. This new union was a binding defensive alliance that also came with economic upsides. Whilst there were those in Austria that wanted to bring back the Holy Roman Empire, reforming it into something useful would have been extremely difficult and time-consuming. Under the new plans, Austria could remain the nominal leaders of the German world, without the downsides that came with trying to run the antiquated and sluggish Holy Roman Empire. At least until the 1860s, that was. I hope you enjoyed this episode, with a special thanks to my patrons, James Bizanet, Kelly Moneymaker, Sky Chappelle, Katoitska, Yuduan Wang, Anthony Beckett, YN Hockey, Marcus Arsner, Captain Psydog, Gustav Swan, The McWhopper, Alex Schwinn, Marvin Kassow, Winston Kaywid, Shuenin, Andy McGeehee, AF Firefly, Spinning 3 Plates, Spencer Lightfoot, Kamoon Yoon, Maggie Patskowski, Remco Heusman, Copper Tone, Jim Stroomberg, Calling Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard, Charles I, Miss Izette, and Words About Books podcast.